Someone stood in the halls of Karnak with a chisel, and their only job was to make a king disappear, not kill her. She was already dead, but erase her from time itself. For over 3,000 years, it worked. Her name vanished from Egypt's official king lists, as if she had never worn the crown at all. But you cannot erase a woman who built temples, commanded fleets, and ruled a superpower for over 20 years. Her name was Hatshepsut, and this is how history nearly buried Egypt's greatest pharaoh. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how a royal widow outmaneuvered an entire court of men to seize the throne of Egypt, and why what she built almost cost her everything, in memory if not in life. This isn't legend. This is documented history, inscriptions, temple walls, and archaeology that archaeologists only pieced together 2 centuries ago, after her name had been silent for 3,000 years. Egypt, around 1479 BC. The 18th dynasty is at its height, wealthy and expanding. Ruled by the Thutmoside family, and Hatshepsut is born into its very center, daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I. As was custom for royal succession, she married her own half-brother, Thutmose II, becoming great royal wife while still a teenager. This is a political bond, not a fairy tale. When Thutmose II died young, the heir to Egypt's throne was a small child. Thutmose III, born to a lesser wife. Egypt needed someone to hold the empire together. That someone was Hatshepsut. As stepmother and aunt to the boy king, she became regent. The accepted, traditional role for a royal widow. For a few years, she played by the rules. But somewhere around the 7th year of her stepson's reign, Hatshepsut did something no woman in Egypt's long memory had dared. She had herself crowned king, not queen, with the full titulary, crook and flail, and even the ceremonial false beard. She did not remove Thutmose III. She ruled beside him as co-king. But inscriptions make it unmistakable who truly held the power. Hatshepsut was the dominant ruler of Egypt. To legitimize the unthinkable, her scribes carved a new story into stone, that the god Ammonius himself had visited her mother in the form of Thutmose I, and Hatshepsut was divinely fathered, a queen born to be king. Unlike the warrior kings before her, Hatshepsut chose a different kind of ambition. Trade, not conquest. She launched a legendary expedition south to the land of Punt, a place Egypt had barely reached in generations. Her ships returned loaded with myrrh trees, ebony, ivory, gold, and exotic animals. A voyage so triumphant, she had it immortalized in full detail on the walls of her own temple. At home, she became one of the greatest builders in Egyptian history, raising towering obelisks at Karnak and commissioning a mortuary temple unlike anything before it. That temple, Djeser Djeseru or Holy of Holies, rose from the cliffs of Deir el-Bahri, in 3 colonnaded terraces, one of the most audacious architectural statements the ancient world had ever seen. For roughly 2 decades, Egypt prospered under her reign. Peaceful, wealthy, and stable, while Thutmose III trained quietly as a soldier, waiting. Then, around 1458 BC, Hatshepsut died. Likely in her 40s, possibly from illness worsened by a skin condition, according to modern analysis of what may be her mummy. Thutmose III finally became sole ruler. Decades later, late in his own long reign, Thutmose III ordered her name struck from king lists, her statue smashed, her image chiseled from temple walls across Egypt. Here's the legend versus the record. For generations, historians assumed pure vengeance. But recent research shows the destruction happened after his 42nd year, long after any personal rivalry, and a 2025 study suggests some of it may have been ritual deactivation of royal statues, a practice done to other kings too, not simply erasure born of hatred. Whatever the true motive, the erasure worked for millennia. Her name disappeared from Egypt's official memory until 1822, when scholars finally learned to read hieroglyphs and found her story hidden in plain sight on her own temple walls. In 1903, archaeologist Howard Carter found an empty tomb believed to be hers. It took until 2007 for Egyptologists to tentatively identify a mummy from a nearby cache as Hatshepsut herself, using a single missing tooth as evidence. Today Hatshepsut is recognized as one of the most successful pharaohs in Egyptian history. One of very few female rulers to hold the full power of kingship, remembered not for how she vanished, but for what she built. They tried to erase her from stone. They could not erase her from time. Her temple still stands in the cliffs of Thebes, louder than any chisel ever was. So the next time someone tells you history is fixed and unchangeable, remember Hatshepsut, buried for 3,000 years, and still, in the end, undeniable. What other rulers do you think history tried to erase?